Hello everyone out there on the creative spectrum, my name is Garrett-Y of Underground Studios, and today I wanted to show you guys a simple fire effect to do in Clip Studio Paint, or Manga Studio, depending on how you call it and which version you have. Now, fire is a very unpredictable thing. Fire will go wherever it wants, whenever it wants, and nobody can tell it otherwise. So recreating it in any kind of image is a very difficult task when you think about it. But some programs, such as Clip Studio and even Photoshop, give us tools to be able to recreate fire. So, in Clip Studio, I'm going to show you how to do it. So, you want to start off in Clip Studio with whatever size you want. I always start with the standard A4. One thing you want to do is make your paper background color a dark color, almost black, but not exactly black, kind of like a very dark gray. Always make your paper that background color. That way you can see the fire better. Next, you want to go to your pen tool. I made a special one called inking pen. And you want to set your pen's opacity to 40%. Now, once you have it set to 40%, you want to go to the brightest orange you possibly can. And once you go to the very bright orange, go a little bit down so it's like a bit of a darker color. You don't have to go too far, like all the way into the middle, but you got to go down a little bit so it's darker. Now with your pen, from top to bottom, I would also suggest having a big brush size. From top to bottom, because you want the tips of the flame to be pointy, so start with a light stroke, slowly adding pressure as you go down into the core of the flame, and just kind of do that for a little bit until you feel satisfied with how the flame will go. I'm going to kind of just mess with this until I feel like it is good enough. You can even put a little flame sparks up there. And let's do... Let's start with that. That's the fire I'm going to use for this tutorial. So we're going to start with that. Now what you want to do, first thing you want to do, is go to your filter, go to blur, and go to Gaussian blur. It is not showing up on screen, and that's because I have it on a different monitor. But just kind of slowly put up the Gaussian blur until it's only a little bit blurry, not too blurry, because if you get it too blurry you'll ruin the effect. So get just a little bit, I say about maybe 27, 28, about that area. Hit that. And that seems to be enough. Now you want to use something called Wave. Now Wave is in Photoshop and there's only one setting for Wave. Now in Clip Studio, if you click Filter and then go to Transform, you'll see Wave and Wave Shape. Now, when I originally started this on Clip Studio, I thought Wave was the correct one. You actually want to do Wave Shape. Wave Shape will give you a lot better options and a lot better of a result. So click on Wave Shape, and it'll pull up this little menu right here. And you have a couple options. Stay with the sine wave. Don't do triangle or rectangular. I was just messing around with some other stuff. Sine wave is what will get you the effect you want. Now you can play with these sliders all you want until you get the desired effect. If the wave goes too far off of one direction, it'll loop around. So just be careful of that. I was double checking something. So just kind of mess around with these settings until you get a fire effect you really enjoy or really want. It may take a little bit of tinkering because this is it's a little fiddly, depending on, what you want and how you get it. But even just as it is right now, I'm actually going to go back because I enjoyed how this looked a second ago. And that's the fire effect I think we're going to use. So we're going to hit OK, and now we have our fire effect. Even right now, it actually looks like a pretty good flame. Now I'm going to take this and move this more towards the center so that it, fits. I'm just going to move you towards the center. Okay. And transform, or apply transformation, yes. Alright. So now you have this fire. It already looks pretty good as it is, but there's a lot more you can do to it to make it look better. The first thing you can do, you come over here to your layer, and you duplicate it. Duplicate layer. You now have a layer duplication. Now in this button right here where it says normal, you have blending modes. If you click this blending mode, in Photoshop you'll have linear dodge, but we don't have that in here. The best I've come to find is color dodge, which makes the piece brighter. Now what you want to do, now that you have color dodge, go to this layer, this second layer that you have the color dodge on, take a eraser, preferably the soft eraser, make it pretty big, and just erase just a little bit of this layer, just like the top uppermost bit, because what you want is the fading effect of how fire slowly kind of fades in color as it rises up. Now you take this one, you duplicate that layer, and now it's even brighter. And then you kind of just erase that a little bit, kind of giving it a gradient effect. Now I know there's another way you could probably do it with a gradient tool, but this is the way I prefer to do it. And even now, this is looking like a really decent fire effect. But if you want this to look like a very hot flame, you want to duplicate the layer again, and now that it's color dodged, and then what you want to do, I haven't found a really easy way to do this in Clip Studio. My best bet has always been to just lock the transparency layer, get a white, and take my pen, usually my inking pen, or a different pen that I can size up, and literally just color white over this layer, over this new layer. And then once you've colored white over this layer, then you just, as before, take your brush and just slowly erase, but this time erase all the way towards the center, because you want the core of the flame to be red or white hot. So even now, look at that. We could even erase a little bit more, so that the core of that flame looks, pretty hot. Pretty sexy, I must say. No, but... So, now you got yourself a pretty smexy looking flame, but it doesn't glow. You think to yourself, man, Garrett, I can't figure out how to make this look better. Well, you can go ahead and put your pen away for now if you wish. Go to your keyboard and mouse, select all of the layers you have, and once again, duplicate them. Now it will look very bright. Now what you can do is see how it shows that it duplicated each layer into in between the other layers. If you just drag them up, they'll all snap to the topmost layer. Once you've done that, merge them. You can I would say just merge them down. So pick the top one and merge down. Now pay attention while you're doing this so you don't accidentally merge into your standard layer, because I did that accidentally the first time. So now that you have this layer copy, put that on the bottom, on the very bottom. And what you want to do, or is that the top? No, that's the bottom. Now what you want to do is you go to your filter with this, go to blur, Gaussian blur, and you just want to make this as blurry as possible, because what this is supposed to be the glow effect. The effect of the glow, the how it's supposed to resonate off the flame. And you can pump this up pretty high depending on how much of a glow effect you want. It's gonna take a while for my computer to figure it out, because I mean my computer's kind of slow. And then once you feel you're satisfied, go ahead and hit OK. Give your computer a minute to figure out what it's trying to do, because that's what my computer's doing right now. But see, now you have a pretty snazzy fire effect. Now you say to yourself, man, the core of my flame is now not white. Well, you can just put down the opacity of that, but it still looks a little weird. If it still looks a little weird, you can always take your eraser and just erase the center of that glow so you can see your white core. because you can even like do that, and boom, there you go. You have a fire effect. A pretty decent looking one too. Now I know there are probably much better ways to do it, but in Clip Studio this is the quickest and easiest way I've figured out how to make this flame effect. And you could you could do this with honestly any color. You know, it doesn't have to be red, it could be blue, it could be purple, it could be green, just whatever kind of fire effect you're looking for. And you can do the same thing in Photoshop too. And if you guys want me to show you how to make a flame effect just like this in Photoshop, let me know in the comments. If you guys want to see more tutorials like this, please leave a like. If you have any suggestions on any other ways you could do this fire effect in Clip Studio, please let me know in the comments as well. But that'll do it for this tutorial. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful, because flame is not an easy thing to make, especially when drawing. So I feel like this will help a lot of people out when they're trying to create a flame, if it's for a torch or maybe some badass kung fu character, regardless of what it is. To show you an image I've created with this, I will be right back. Now here is an image I created in Clip Studio using this technique. Now I did take it in Photoshop for a couple other effects, but for my college final project, this is the item I'm submitting with the flame. So that's what I can do with it. I wonder what anyone else can do with it. So, but anyways, as I said again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a colorful day. Bye-bye!